Peace and love, family. Peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah. Again with another video for all the conscious brothers and sisters in the conscious community. Keeping the struggle because we know it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say that it's in fact a slow process for progress. That the race is not to the swift, it's only to those that can remain dutiful. So we gotta stay in this lane for the long haul. Y'all already know that my videos never constitute legal advice. It's not a legal counsel, it's not an attorney. I'm just your brother. I just share with you education and information about my walks and travels throughout my journey called life. I like to spend all these honors to you because when you honor man, when you honor woman, you in fact honor yourself. Let me give all adoration and acknowledgement to Allah, the head and temple of my life, and extend that same love, courtesy, and acknowledgement to all of his messages and prophets. Peace to all of you, beloved brothers and sisters, and grand rising to all the chosen and woke ones. How's everyone today? Me, man, taking steps, taking the one day at a time. Peace and love, man. Love y'all too, right? So I just wanted to make this seminar and let y'all know I got a seminar I'm gonna be having in Philly, and I wanna give you guys a heads up for people that want to be there. Give you plenty of time, to get there. I got some stuff I've been sharing on, all the platforms to inform people about the upcoming event. I want you to be there. I'm gonna be covering some great information. It'll be the first time I actually go through the step-by-step process of how to acquire a car, no credit down, no cash down, credit only. You know what I'm saying? Certain stuff I guess as time go on, I start releasing certain information for people and stuff like that. So I just wanna let everybody know about the event. It's gonna be a 3-day event. First day I'll be covering. I have to look at it. I can't remember the arrangement, but I think the first day I'll be talking about how to purchase a vehicle, no credit down, money down, and then the next. I can't remember. I have to look at the flyer. But then the last class, the last day, I'll be actually going through all the forms, the documents, showing, in reference to the processes that I'll be teaching about. I'm teaching about two different processes. I have to look at it, but I know one of the processes is the steps that it takes to actually go and purchase a car. The lingo, because it's with this stuff you have to know the right things to say, and you have to know how to talk to the finance manager. These people are informed, but if they feel that you're not informed, then they're going to play dumb with you. They're going to act like they don't know what you're talking about. So you have to know certain things, and there's certain things that you must do. So all those things I'm going to be covering, showing you, step by step how you do certain things. So if you want to get there, and this same process that I pretty much show you, if you're a wise person, you'll be able to take the same process and apply it to any process for that matter. Because I'm gonna show you something so powerful that I know ain't nobody else showed you, because I did some work to figure this stuff out, to learn all the stuff that I've learned, from the the EFTPS systems, to all the things that, that I put out there. But I'm gonna be covering some, man, I can't even, you just have to be there to believe it, man. It's just like, it's amazing, but I can tell you that, it would definitely be worth your while if you come out. You'll learn so much information. You're gonna get so much information that you can take and go put it right to use. Like some of my videos, I got information out here, man, on some of these videos on this YouTube. A lot of y'all just ain't catching it, but I put certain stuff out there, man. Like, you got to go watch the videos to catch what. I had a guy call me, right, and he was telling me what he paid off or whatever. He paid this off. He got the title to this and that, right? So he's like, man, I was watching your videos, and he like, you dropped the jewel in one, and then I went and watched another one, and you were saying, if you was talking about similar, but you were saying something, and he say, it finally hit me. He said, I put two and two together, man, and I figured it out. And he didn't got stuff paid off. Man, I done talked to people, man, just off the EFTPS system alone. It's phenomenal, man, if you know what you're doing and you know how to, create agency. I keep telling people, agency is key. You gotta look at it like this. Y'all gotta look at agency as more or less like you got one person that's responsible, and then you got another party that's just like an authorized user. So what you're trying to do is get yourself in the authorized user position. That's what we supposed to be doing. We supposed to be in the authorized user position, not as the account holder position. In the account holder position, you incur liability because the account holder is the one responsible for all the obligations. But look at it like this. Look at the principal as a credit card account. So say the principal was the credit card account, and you as the agent was added to the principal's account as an authorized representative, authorized to utilize that principal account. And something to that nature. That's where you want to be at. You want to be in a position where you're being recognized as somebody that's authorized to use something, and under that authorized usage, you're not incurring any liability for the performance of another party. See, but they never really taught us how to do all that. So, you just got to grow into that knowledge and understanding of what's actually taking place, and you can make drastic changes in your life. All right, I'm going to share something with y'all before I get up off here, though. Concerning the utilities and stuff like that. You know how the utilities is one of the easiest accounts to actually fix. I've learned that over the years that with the utility accounts, it's really easy to fix your utility because in any account for that matter, even a credit card account, if you purchased a credit card but it was an online purchase, those are the easiest accounts to get rid of because most of the credit card companies and most of the utility companies never have an agreement with you in writing that they can basically substantiate to solidify a claim against you to say that you owe an obligation or you agreed to perform some sort of obligation. Most people just haven't grew to understanding that in contracts, in order for somebody to charge you or to hold you liable to something, you really have to have an agreement in writing, like something written down on paper that you endorsed or you added your signature or your name to that's actually causing you to become liable. But if you got on the telephone with a utility company and you called up and asked for services, think about it. You called the utility company, you tell them you wanted services, they ask you to supply certain information to supply certain services to you. So you supply certain information and then they begin servicing you for the information you provided. And you have to understand, right? I had to learn this, like most companies, even like say if you enter into a credit agreement with my company and the agreement is supposed to be a credit agreement, but my company normal functions and the way that it operates, it normally generates bills for all customers. So if you are not the type of customer that's supposed to be being billed on your utility account, once that bill comes, you were supposed to reject the bill because and remind them of the original credit agreement. And that's just like what I was saying in my last video. Like, a lot of y'all have to learn how to enforce the original agreement that you enter. Like, this is not a game where you give some magical money and stuff like that. What this is that every man and woman has an interest in whatever they do. And your interest is usually your title in a thing, or it gives you a title in a thing, right? But if you don't transfer your title to somebody else to receive that interest that you're entitled to, then you remain liable for a title that you hold, because somebody put title in your possession and you hold title, but you're not transferring the title. You're remaining liable under the title that you receive, whether it's a mortgage, whether it's a lease. You're holding title. You got to understand that title transfers by way of transfer of a document. So look at it like this. The original note was issued to you by the service provider. Initially, he's the one that's responsible to service the contract for the need of his customer. He transfers his title to you. He gives no consideration in that, but because the way that the law works, every transfer is a transfer for value and consideration. So even if I don't sign a document and I transfer it, if you accept it, it constitutes consideration, because every transfer is not just a transfer for value, it's a transfer for value and consideration, right? So when he transfers the original title to you, he's considering you accepting his offer to you, right? And whatever the offer is will be stated in the instrument as his terms. Now, when you sign, you give consideration to his offer, right? And then you transfer it back to him with the consideration that you gave. Now, technically, according to law, he should discharge off the rip, right? Because he asked you for value. He gave you a document and he said, hey, I need your value on this document, and I can service your contract for you. So when he gave you the document, you supplied the value, and then you gave it back to him, and now he was willing to accept it back from you, long as you gave the value that he requested. But he never paid it once he received it back. Once he received it back with your value attached to it, he was supposed to do a discharge, or he was supposed to do some sort of settlement of the value that he was receiving from you. But being that he didn't settle and he returned to you a copy of that document back to you, what he did was he received the value that you supplied to the contract, and instead of him applying the value to the contract that you gave him, he returned it back to you as a document of title. He put the liability on you. He withheld his responsibility to credit you for the credits that were supplied to his note. Instead, he did a slick move on it. He gave you a copy of the same document that you supplied the value to and returned back to you the value. And ever since he returned it back to you, you've been holding the title to the value that you want to be paid on your contract. I want you to think about that. That's a very clever method for anybody that's not conscious. They would never figure that out. You would never think that by somebody giving you a copy of an instrument that they're returning back to you the same thing you supplied to them, right? Because they're returning it back to you. This is like, you gave it to me, but I'm giving it back to you. And as long as you continue to hold the part, you got to remember, every contract. I got videos up breaking this down. I said that every contract has two sides. You have a debtor side and a creditor side, or a debit side and a credit side. Every contract has two sides of a ledger. So if the principal side of the ledger is the original note being tendered, represents the debit side of the account, and then he tear it off and give you a copy, then the other copy he give you must be for the other side of the ledger. It gotta be. It gotta be because it's two sides. So you already paid one side because you already signed and gave him that side of the note. So he gave you the other side of the note. But in your mind, you don't look at it as another form of payment that you entitled to credit. You keep the other side of the note and never return it back to complete the contract. Remember, it has to be a completed contract, meaning that both sides of the agreement have to be tendered. You can't just tender the principal and not tender the. Yeah, man. I'm gonna close this out, and I'm gonna come back later, man, because somebody trying to call me that's important. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and love.